Hey guys, this is a direct response to, I promised, Natakue. Well, he had a question, and, it was good enough that I couldn't really, give him a quick answer on a text reply here on YouTube. So, actually made me think about how, he could actually, be pretty competitive against a swarm army, um, playing a close combat geared Blood Angels army. Um, Even though they're not really Blood Angels, but he uses that list. So, alright, first things first. So, assuming that it's a close combat geared army, you're still obviously going to take a couple tactical squads, and I would break these down into combat squads, just for, you could, if you want to gear them towards close combat, take a flamer, try to get the charge, rapid fire, and flame, all those gaunts that are going to be out on the table. So when they do get tied up, they're only tying up a 5-man squad, and they're only tying up tying up the 5-man squad and not your 10-man squad. And then maybe they break on you, or they basically, you're able to wipe them out because you were able to shoot them well enough, even though if it's big units like I saw in the video, because I did a little research, looked at what your competitor had, Serpentis. I mean, obviously you can proxy anything, but people like to use models they painted already. So for his gaunts, he uses large squads, which is smart. I would definitely try that, breaking down your tactical squads into that, and then it's hard to get the charge, but get or it's either you try to you charge them, so you limit the number of attacks that those gaunts are going to put on you while they tie you up, or you get into real close, within 12 inches, and rapid fire them, and hopefully close enough that you could even flame or a couple. With your designated close combat units, like your Death Company, well, actually I'll just talk about the Death Company real quick. That's hard, because if you don't put them in a transport, I mean, if I'm a nib player, I will just put a cruddy unit, like of gaunts or something I expect to die, and just hold you up all the game, like Rippers or something, because they have to move towards the closest, charge the closest enemy model, move towards them, and do that whole rule set. So, and I would fleet that unit, Hormagaunts. I would just be like, alright, I have I may take a small squad of Hormagaunts and just like, alright, here you go. Let them rend that. So they're basically, hold them up till I get to choose what units I want to fight them. Either that, or I can just keep throwing units out and make them a null thing the whole entire game. It's like the same concept of throwing, something at a dreadnought, and holding that up all game. So, Death Company, I would take a transport and then deploy them, and a good transport is a land raider against swarm armies, just because the fact that we penetrating AV-14 is a major problem, and the fact that you can assault out of it, gives the Death Company, a pretty big, jump on the enemy. I wouldn't use the land raider in a central role. I would use it sort of like off to one flank, still towards the core of the army, but not in the middle directly, and then just try to, basically block line of sights for maybe if you had, land speeder or something like behind it, so they don't know whether to shoot the, the land speeder with the assault cannon, or, heavy bolter, or whatever you want to put on it, if you have one of those, to wreak havoc on the flank, or to take out this land raider. And also what it will do is that with the swarm army, they're so big, it will make him sort of divide his forces to go either to deal with that part of that side of the board, which is, in your mind, when you see a huge land raider and you see land speeders, or like other, and maybe they know that the Death Company is in there or not, because they don't see the Death Company on the table. It's obvious you have to have one, so it's there, and they might go deal with it, or they might not. And if he does, then he's got to split his forces, his swarm, and that doesn't work too well with a swarm, because the idea is that eventually in the end of the game you sort of want to group them all towards the middle, because everything's got to pounce at the same time in the waves. So that's one way. Even though they have so many models, they still get weaker, and that what it does is also spreads out their synapse. So maybe you have a little isolated more pockets in his army to take down that, so he'll crumble more. And then if you have like jump troops, jump infantry, which I imagine you would because you're going assault oriented, you have your your Blood Angels with jump packs. I would imagine I would keep them for not so much a flanking role, but definitely more of a counter assault role, because you have to think that's what they want to do. Even though you can probably wipe the floor with a lot of the models, problem is if you put out such big squads, you're not going to be able to kill them all in 1-2 turns. And that's when the Nids really have the advantage, is coming in with their Gene Stealers coming behind, fleeting, and then all of a sudden you have rending on what your power armor, which is not what you want to do. So and another reason is take those combat squads is because if they get wiped out, if they wipe, pack of Gene Stealers wipes out 5, a combat squad of 5, that's easy, okay, for them to do, and then leave them isolated for shooting, and negate their terrible armor save and negate their close combat ability. So that's like just from an army list building standpoint. In the game it helps out. If you have a Ball Predator, I would take it. I don't know if you're gonna. I mean, it's a great machine. It just takes down hordes, and it had nothing. We only have toughness 6, so you're still gonna hit on 4s even if you go after the big boys in our list. Especially with the rending, that helps too. That negates their save, which is can only be 2+ at best, and that 6+ invulnerable for zone throws. I mean, the fact is that you can take it out, and the synapse, doesn't work as well because it's not like you're trying to instant death them. You're not wasting big shots on them, even though you will, shoot your bigger guns if you want to take those. If you have a whirlwind and it's okay for your list, I don't know, your close combat oriented, I don't know how many heavy support choices you're really going to want to take. Whirlwinds are great, especially with the one missile, the Incinerary, or I can't remember what exactly it was called, but the one they take just basically like Norse cover. That's great. You can seriously pop 1 or 2 shots into that huge swarm. Even if it drifts, you're probably going to hit something, probably going to cause some serious damage on our poor armor save, and negating that cover save will be big too. So that's also a way you can get at sort of the units that are maybe out of your reach, like the Gene Stealers that are more devastating. You can because the indirect fire, you can lob a shot at them, and then even if it drifts into the gaunts or maybe the thing, you can take down the Gene Stealers, move them without having to have direct line of sight. And let's see here. Had a couple notes. Oh geez, I'm doing it wrong. I don't know what your HQ is going to be like, but if you're going to take I would definitely take a chaplain. If you want, if your opponent allows you to take Mephiston, I would take him because he's absolutely ridiculous. He's one of the best characters gameplay-wise in the game. He just mops the floor in close combat. But people don't like that because it's not really a thing. If you can take maybe a drop pod with, I wouldn't take necessarily Marines, but I would take like a Dreadnought, because if you can get a drop pod behind their lines and sort of harass them, people don't, that causes serious problems. I really wouldn't take scouts. Bike squadrons are okay. I think you really want like assault oriented squads, so even if you take your if you take your tactical squads and you make them bolt pistols and everything like that, just be careful, be aware of what you're getting yourself into. Just remember, against like a swarm army, what you want to do is not let them tie you up, and really get out there and counter assault. You can do that either by firing, or you can do that thing. But the idea is that when you hit them, you want to hit the units that are causing problems when you have actually the chance. So if they tie up your 5-man unit, and then maybe a Ravager or the Gene Stealers come in there with the Gaunt Squad and blow them up, you know, and then they consolidate and you can still get shots on them,